With Champions League starting tomorrow, I have a confession to make, and it's pretty massive.
Massive. No taper fate.
No. Here comes the truth bomb. I wasn't always a Liverpool fan. In fact, I hated them. For a really long time, I hated Liverpool. I hated Firmino, I hated Salah, I hated Verge. I hated them. So if you're gonna call me a plastic fan, don't worry about it. I already hate myself for that. Growing up, I was a Napoli fan, hardcore Serie A fan. I didn't support the Premier League at all. I just thought Serie A was superior to Premier League, and I just didn't like anything that had to do with the Prem. Liverpool at the time were really an amazing club, so I obviously had some sort of resentment towards them. So yeah, that's the hardest confession I've ever had to make, but here's the first time I supported Liverpool. Growing up, I supported Napoli, and it was just pain. I didn't support them through like the real trash of going to Serie C, getting relegated so much, and just struggling to get to the top again. But I was around for that Serie A renaissance with Quagliarella, Lavezzi, Cavani, all these amazing players that are unforgettable, like Hamšík, Higuaín, who eventually stabbed Napoli in the back. But it was mostly pain. As a Napoli fan, our best players would always get sold. But I'm going to take you back to 2017. This is when Roma, of all clubs, were in contention for Champions League. Now, one thing you have to know about me is I always watched Champions League with my grandmother. Back then, I was in high school. I'd finish off the day, take the bus home, and then I would come home and watch Champions League with my grandmother. She was a huge Roma fan, and even though I supported Napoli, I had so much hatred towards the Premier League that I would support every team or any team that was Italian in Champions League. So that year, Roma made an insane comeback against Barcelona, and we were losing our shit. That was that crazy last-minute Manolas header. It's an unforgettable moment. Even as a Napoli fan, I was screaming for that. Liverpool was also cooking with Mane, Salah, Firmino, goals flying left, right, and center. This was in itself a renaissance of football. So at the time, Roma was at that high, that shocking comeback that no one expected against Barcelona, and they were up against Liverpool. I'll admit, Roma had their odds against them, and that second leg, they were in Liverpool. Now, what you gotta know is that Roma was wearing white since they were visiting, and Liverpool was wearing red. My grandmother was already struggling with dementia, so she kept mistaking Liverpool for Roma, Roma for Liverpool, just because of that switch up in the colors that they would normally wear. And back then, I hated Liverpool so much. They were absolutely cooking Roma. And my grandmother was cheering for them, thinking that they were Roma. Obviously, I wasn't going to correct her, so I was cheering for Liverpool with her. So on that day, watching her cheer and myself cheer, I was a Liverpool fan for a day. And so that year, Liverpool went to the final, and I actually didn't support them because I wanted Ronaldo to win. It just felt right to see Ronaldo win that one. But looking back at it now as someone who is a Liverpool fan, that was an absolute robbery. The most memorable thing from that final was Dua Lipa's performance, though. It was only after that I started to appreciate Jurgen Klopp and have a love for the players that are still there now and even their history. But I wouldn't call myself a Liverpool fan until 2022 when Liverpool announced the signing of Darwin Núñez. And you can't call me a plastic fan because I supported Liverpool when they were in a drought with Darwizzi. I supported Darwizzi, I supported Liverpool, and I didn't choose them because they were popular. I didn't choose them because of the trophies. I didn't choose them for hunting glory. I started to actually watch the Premier League and begin to appreciate the flow of the game as opposed to Serie A's tactical brilliance. And I began to appreciate the pacing of the Premier League. Now I can call myself a Liverpool fan, and I hope that you can call me a Liverpool fan too. So please don't call me a plastic fan because I have supported Liverpool through thick and thin. Even after losing Darwizzi, I have supported Liverpool. I thought, man, how am I gonna support Liverpool now that Darwizzi's gone? But I can say there's only one time I will not be supporting Liverpool, and that's when they face Napoli, which is not happening anytime soon. You can clown on me all you want. I'm here to stay. Ah!